This is what it looks like when you have left the real world and you have entered the world of cults. I am, of course, talking about Tammy Bruce. Tammy Bruce is the State Department spokeswoman, and she is really challenging Caroline Leavitt. She challenges the legacy of Kayleigh McEnany. She challenges North Korean propaganda anchors. This is the kind of rhetoric that really marks the total collapse of honest political discourse. She delivers a stream of authoritarian devotion so intense that it would sound a little ridiculous even in an actual dictatorship. She thanks God, quite literally thanks God, for Donald Trump. I don't know how tuned your lie detector is, but mine was just beeping like crazy when I watched this.
What I think we all have noticed, and this is not giving away anything, is that the Middle East changed a couple weeks ago, very dramatically.
Ooh.
It changed forever. And the work of the President of the United States, thank God for him, is going to make sure that this is not a lost opportunity. We can say this simply by having watched him most of his adult life in some capacity, but certainly with what he's given up and sacrificed to be the leader of this country. So the Middle East changed dramatically. This is an opportunity in the midst of this new world to make a different kind of decision. He is optimistic. The president is very honest. Sometimes he's pessimistic, and he'll let people know. Again, he's a transparent man, which sometimes can be unusual. We're not used to always hearing it, but it's extremely helpful. So while I don't know the detail of what makes him optimistic, I know to trust him.
I don't really know any of the facts on which Donald Trump has come to conclusions. But what I know is, since I thank God that Trump is president, I know to trust anything he says and anything he does. It's a bizarre mashup of 1984, Jonestown, and North Korea is the way I would put it. This is not normal political support. This is the language of submission and of cults and of unquestioning loyalty. It's also historically familiar. This is the part that really is terrifying. When public figures start saying, we must never second guess the leader. Tammy, tell us, what are the sort of analyses on which Trump has, I don't know any of them, but I know that I thank God for Trump and I trust anything he says. That's the language of cults and of authoritarianism. And when you look at history, it's terrifying where else you saw this level of performative devotion, right? We don't know whether Tammy Bruce genuinely believes this crap, but at least it's what she's willing to say. You are in a personality cult when this is how you talk. And it really echoes the forced reverence that we've seen in totalitarian regimes. And it's not because Trump's a totalitarian genius, but because his enablers speak about him in terms that strip away accountability and elevate Trump to a pseudo-deity, untouchable type of figure. And they wrap it in religious language. Not all totalitarian, authoritarian, dictatorial regimes wrap up the leader as a pseudo-religious figure. But the thank God for Donald Trump. This is messianic framing. It's not enough that he's president. It's not enough that she trusts anything he says or does. He is divine. And the implication is very clear. If you oppose a divine deity type figure, it's not a political disagreement. It's blasphemy. It's blasphemy. Then one more Tammy Bruce clip serves up an epic word salad about Russia, Ukraine. Just take a listen to this.
But the president from the get-go made it clear that his American first foreign policy objective when it comes to Russia-Ukraine war is to end the killing. And these are defensive weapons that Ukraine needs that for that very reason, to end the killing of Ukrainians by the Russians. How do you square that circle?
Well, it's not, one doesn't need to complete the circle or square it. Our commitment hasn't changed. The nature of how we're able to make that commitment is going to be based on what is best for America first. It is the president's point of view, his guiding hand about the nature of what needs to occur. And it is certainly two nations at war. And America has made a huge difference in that regard. And the president still has worked to have people at the table, that this can only be solved diplomatically. That, of course, is the State Department's wheelhouse. And that's what he wants. He has made several remarks returning to this now with the Israel-Iran situation at least managed. And this is not something that the president is not addressing. It is clearly on our plate all the time.
There you go. It's not something he's not addressing, and he knows what he's doing and he gets his ideas. There is no serious analysis here and no policy rationale and no debate over outcomes. It's just obedience and linguistic gymnastics. Now, I know that some of you, when we criticize the statements of people like Caroline Levitt and Tammy Bruce, at the end of the day, these are spokespeople. That's right. But they are spokespeople to give us the rationale for the policy. That's the whole point. I know they're going to defend Trump, but it's not obligatory to defend Trump by making him a pseudo deity. It's not obligatory to defend Trump by saying, I don't know anything about the decision other than I trust everything he does. Give us Trump's rationale, and we can then decide whether we accept it. But these linguistic trapeze artist things to justify anything Trump says or does, it's the worst I've ever seen in the time I've been covering this. And again, this is how authoritarian movements function. They don't rely on arguments that are logically consistent. They rely on faith. So it's really more of a theology than it is a political philosophy. And if you're wondering how democracies slide into authoritarianism, sometimes it's jackboots and coups, but sometimes it's televised loyalty oaths dressed up as political commentary, like Tammy Bruce. Sometimes it's a pundit looking into the camera and saying, I know never to second guess this man. I'm grateful to God that he's in charge. This time it's not a pundit, it's a State Department spokeswoman. So none of this is democratic engagement. They have surrendered completely, and they want us to be the worshipers on our knees for Trump. Not me. Not me.